먼저 주한미군의 평택시대를 개막을 축하하는 뜻깊은 자리를 빛내주신 내외 귀빈 여러분 진심으로 감사드립니다. 또한 세계 최고 수준의 시설을 갖추고 주한미군 장병과 가족들에게 본국 수준의 안정적인 임무 수행 여건과 생활 환경을 제공할 수 있도록 아낌없이 지원해 주신 지자체 관계자 여러분께도 감사의 말씀 드립니다. 특히 정장선 당선자님께서 뵙게 되니까 반갑습니다. 한국은 6월을 호국보훈의 날로 지정하여 나라를 위해 헌신하신 분들의 넋을 기리고 감사의 마음을 전하는 뜻깊은 행사를 갖습니다. 지난 6월 25일 본인은 여기 브룩스 사령관과 함께 잠실 실내체육관에서 개최된 6.25 전쟁 68주년 기념 행사에서 22개 6.25 참전국에서 온 유엔 참전용사들을 만났었습니다. 6월 26일 또다시 브룩스 사령관과 함께 부산 유엔 기념묘지를 방문하여 유엔군 참전 영웅들의 명복을 빌었고 추모식에 참석한 참전 용사들을 위로하였습니다. 6.25 전쟁 당시 34만여 명의 유엔군이 참전하여 4만 명 넘게 산화하였고 10만 4천 명이 부상을 당했었습니다. 오늘의 평화와 번영은 참전 용사들의 헌신과 희생 위에 빛나고 있습니다. 세계 속의 강국으로 우뚝 선 우리 대한민국과 오늘 이곳에서 새롭게 문을 연 유엔군 및 주한미군사령부가 이를 증명하고 있습니다. 6.25 전쟁의 영웅들은 자신들의 헌신이 결코 헛되지 않았음을 깨달음과 동시에 긍지와 명예로 다시 생각하리라 믿습니다. 본인이 합참 전략계 공무장으로 근무하던 참여정부 시절에 기지 이전 사업이 본격적으로 시작되었고 2007년 해군 참모총장으로서 착공신기에 참석한 바가 있는데 오늘 개관식 및 환정식에서 축사를 하게 된 것을 감개무량하게 생각합니다. 현재 한반도와 동북아의 정세는 냉전의 극렬한 대립에서 평화공조 시대로 전환되고 있습니다. 북한의 핵은 반드시 제거되어야 하며 남북은 새로운 교류 협력 시대를 맞이하게 될 것입니다. 이러한 안보의 대전환기를 만들어낸 것은 우리 한미동맹이 많은 난관을 극복하고 인내하며 싸우지 않고 승리를 쟁취한 결과입니다. 이제 평택기지에서 근무하는 유엔사 및 주한미군 장병들은 새로운 시대에 걸맞는 새로운 임무를 맡아야만 할 것입니다. 즉 새로운 임무는 한반도의 평화는 물론 동북아의 안정자로서 균형을 이루어 세계 평화에 기여하는 중요한 역할입니다. 지난 25일 데이비드슨 인도 태평양 사령관을 만났을 때 6.25 전쟁 68주년을 맞이하면서 미군 장병들의 한미 동맹은 앞으로 680년, 더 나아가 6,800년까지 계속되어야 한다고 말했다고 제가 얘기를 들었었습니다. 맞습니다. 그러한 우정과 신뢰의 길을 새롭게 걸어가자는 말씀을 드리며 이만 제 말씀을 마치겠습니다. 같이 갑시다. 감사합니다.
안녕하십니까. 유엔사령부, 한미연합사령부, 주한미군사령부 사령관 빈센트 브룩스 대장입니다. 반갑습니다. want to thank you all for gathering today for an historic and exciting event. Today, we officially open the new headquarters for United Nations Command and U.S. Forces Korea. First, I want to thank the Minister of Defense of the Republic of Korea, Minister Yonhapnews, for honoring us with his presence as the senior representative of the Republic of Korea, and also Dr. Lee Sang-chol, the first Vice National Security Director from the Blue House. To all members of the South Korean government who are present, members of the National Assembly, as well as the provincial and city governments, thank you so much for your presence here today. And thank you most sincerely for creating this expanded base, Camp 험프리스, which we believe to be the largest overseas U.S. base in the world. And this headquarters building, within the headquarters complex that surrounds it, represents the significant investment in the long-term presence of U.S. forces in Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a project that cost nearly $10.8 billion U.S. dollars to build over 10 years. And the Republic of Korea investment was over 90% of the costs. And for that 90%, the United States remains with you 100%. I want to thank also the members of the diplomatic corps, especially the representatives of the United Nations sending states and the enabling countries for joining us today. The service and sacrifices of your countrymen will be remembered within this building, and thus this headquarters is your headquarters as well. We're also honored to have so many former deputy commanders, senior members of the United Nations Command Military Armistice Commission, and present-day members of the Republic of Korea U.S. Combined Forces Command as the partners to the U.S. forces here in Korea and as members of the United Nations Command. You are part of the history that brings us to this day. All of the subordinate commands of U.S. Forces Korea are also present today, and I want to thank you also for your presence and for your service here in the Republic of Korea. Let me also extend my thanks to the United Nations Command Honor Guard, the 8th Army Band, the Salute Battery for your performances today, and to the U.S. Forces Korea Protocol Team and the Ceremonies Team for the hard work that went into making this opening ceremony a success. And ladies and gentlemen, I would ask that you would join me in giving them a big round of applause. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, today marks an historic milestone in the history of the United Nations Command, which began in 1950. And in the history of the Republic of Korea-U.S. alliance, with its two key events in 1957 with the activation of U.S. Forces Korea, and in 1978 with the activation of the Republic of Korea-U.S. Combined Forces Command. It represents the start of a new era and a new set of relationships as, for the first time, the Republic of Korea U.S. Combined Forces Command, an outgrowth of United Nations Command, will be geographically separated from the headquarters of the United Nations Command and from the headquarters of U.S. forces in Korea. Our relationships and our histories are intertwined, and they are strong enough to support this separation without weakening any of the three commands. Indeed, today, the United Nations Command will continue to be the home for international commitments, with a mandate to restore peace and security in defense of the Republic of Korea. And U.S. Forces Korea will remain the living proof of the American commitment to the alliance. In time, we will become accustomed to the geographic separation between Seoul and Pyeongtaek, and we may even forget what it was like when we were all in one place. But we will never forget that no matter where we are, we will always be together. Today, some may feel uncertainty about that because we're making a step in a new direction. But let me set that feeling at ease, because we have been through this before. That feeling was probably similar, I would imagine, to the historic creation of the Republic of Korea and United States Combined Forces Command, and the opening of a new headquarters called the White House within Yongsan Garrison in 1978. Recognizing the similarity between that time and the present day, we have chosen to name the new headquarters for the commanding general who put us on the new course in 1978, and that is General John W. Vesey, Jr. And we recognize also his teammate, the first deputy commander of the Combined Forces Command, General Lu Byung-hyun, who will share his remarks on this occasion in a few moments. You will hear a number of General Vesey's significant career achievements later in the program, and you will hear from his son, David Vesey, who has come here to Korea. He also served here in Korea himself with the United States Army. David, thank you so much for your presence in you and Donna, representing the Vesey family. We're honored by your presence, and we're very grateful that your family accepted our request to name this building after your father, General Jack Vesey. In a few moments, we will dedicate this building to General Vesey and ceremonially open it with the cutting of a ribbon. We will also make several dedications to remind us that everywhere we go in this complex and in this building, we go with the legacy of those who came before us. We will dedicate not only this building, but also we will dedicate this field in honor of Private First Class Charles Hayward Barker, who earned the highest American award for valor in combat, the Medal of Honor. We will dedicate the main auditorium in the name of Republic of Korea Army General and gallant United Nations Command fighter, General Paek Sun-yeop. We will name 2 conference rooms in honor of patriots, Korean-American patriots, who served with distinction and whose accomplishments made history. Colonel Kim Yong-ok, who during the Korean War became the first Asian American to command a battalion in ground combat. And Susan An Cuddy, who was the first female gunnery officer in the United States Navy. As each of these 2 legendary individuals were Korean and American, they symbolize the permanent connection between the Republic of Korea and the United States, while in service among the sending states of the United Nations. Finally, we will also highlight the coming placement of an extraordinary monument to our histories, which in a few months will be placed at the corner of this building. And for every eye to see and to take in that spirit of devotion and sacrifice, the spirit of Kachikapshida. I want to thank Lieutenant General Retired Kim Yu-gun, the Chief Director of the Ministry of National Defense, U.S. Forces Korea Base Relocation Office, and Mr. James Kim and Mr. Jeffrey Jones of the American Chamber of Commerce for providing the monument, which will add a place of contemplation and reflection to these grounds. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for your attendance today to make this a special and memorable event. I hope you enjoy the rest of the ceremony and that you're able to tour the building and Camp Humphreys after the ceremony ends. 감사드립니다. 같이 갑시다.
Korea from United States Army Garrison Yongsan to United States Army Garrison 험프리스.
Sir, on your command. 3, 2, 1, cut.
The General Vista Building. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the United Nations Command March and the 4 United States service songs. Voluntarily elected to cover the retrograde of his unit and was last seen fighting the enemy in hand-to-hand combat. Promoted to Private First Class and awarded the Medal of Honor for making supreme sacrifice as part of the United Nations Command's defense. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now dedicate the United Nations Command and United States.
Withdrawal of U.S. troops from the Korean Peninsula cost him what many thought would be a fitting end to a long and storied.